What's up? It's the man, Karceno. Now, let's go over a few things. There's a lot of misconceptions about why I didn't make a statement about Stephen A. Smith and his comments about Donald Trump. Yes, I am under the weather, and I'm still grinding it out, too. But the reason why is that I wanted you guys to die down so people can hear me clearly as my own person. I didn't want to be caught up in the mix of everybody else jumping on the bandwagon of letting everyone else go ahead and talk and talk and talk, and then I get lost in the shuffle somewhere. Because I'm not doing this for views, hits, or nothing. I think it needs to be said. Though there may have been others who said the same exact thing as I'm about to say. Now, the Stephen A. video, Stephen A. Smith, his little like 3-4 minute take on, I guess, first take, they call final take, where they have last final thoughts of the show or whatever gimmick they tried to pull. Now, on this event, he made a statement asking blacks to give basically Donald Trump a chance, and saying that no harm should come by having dialogue with Donald Trump, and that we should not be coming down so hard on Steve Harvey for just having a conversation with the man. Like, if using other black athletes, like, would you say that if your favorite athlete was meeting with Donald Trump and he was, and about actually improving things in the community, and what harm could come by actually having that conversation? Wow, you should ask Floyd Mayweather why he doesn't make a statement about his friendship with Donald Trump. Why he never publicly talks about that. He's a black athlete. He met with Donald Trump. He spoke with Trump. Do you hear him promoting Donald Trump? No. Because there's a reason why he's not doing that. And there's a reason why you chose to use black athletes. Because if Donald Trump really cared about the conditions of black people, he would meet with community leaders, such as other presidents have done. When they went to talk about issues that's affecting the community, they didn't just sit down with a rapper, an athlete, another black person, just of popular stature, just for press time or clippings. They actually sat down with people in the communities and tried to do something to help the situations get better. Now, here's another thing, Stephen A. You do not speak for all black people. And it's amazing to me that you wouldn't speak up for black people that worked with you, like Rob Parker. You basically sided with the company to go against Rob Parker and basically got him fired. So where's this brotherhood and togetherness when it comes to, I don't know, your job? When no one's supposed to throw an employee under the bus at ESPN, that is in your contract. You guys went ahead and let Michelle Bill throw you under the bus and get you suspended, and you didn't fight back, and you got brothers fighting for you, and you didn't even fight for yourself. Where was the fight then? No, because you didn't want it to affect your money. You look at the cash value instead of the innate value of standing up for something. Now, how are you representing us? How is a conversation with a president about a subject gonna actually improve something with us? We definitely are not the reason he's in the White House. I'm quite sure there was some black people that voted for him, but the Republican Party, I don't think, can care about a democratic situation. You understand? What they talk about, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, but I have not seen a Republican care about urban communities ever. When it's election time, they do a little bit in the urban community to say at the podium, look what we've done with these numbers. And the thing is that you know this. But since Steve Harvey's a buddy of yours and you need somebody to scratch your back from here and there, and the fact that you've now signed to the CA agency and you're no longer in the media agency now you're going to go to where the agency leans towards. Steve Harvey's a part of that agency. You're a part of that agency. Collusion? So are these really your words, Stephen A? Or is this your agency's words? Who said you should go out and make a statement for your buddy and friend, Steve Harvey? It's going to help you out in the end. Because they're going to make sure Stephen A gets chances and opportunities. So Stephen A is looking out for Stephen A. And he's going to say, well, I've had people on the show like Isaiah Thomas, and Isaiah Thomas talked about what was going on in Chicago. I've had some of the world leaders on my show. So don't say I don't care about the community, brother. Listen, if you cared about the communities and helping the urban communities, you don't call out black NBA, NFL athletes. Why don't you call out all athletes? Why does it always have to be the blacks have to kick something into the urban area? You think the Mexicans don't have poor areas? They live in the same areas as the blacks. No one says anything to the Latino baseball players. Why don't y'all kick something back to the community? No, but if you black and you got money, it's your responsibility. Not everybody who's black that played in the NBA actually came from urban neighborhoods. A lot of these guys were, if they did, they weren't really involved in the neighborhood that much. A lot of them went to great big schools and universities and got good grades. They were basically the guys you looked up to. You know, they was bookworms. They did their work. Then you have some, like about maybe 20-30% that took the shortcuts, but they were so giftedly talented at basketball, it was the only thing that was going to carry them out the neighborhood. So they basically are not financially responsible with their money, and they make poor decisions, and that's why they end up broke when they're out of the NBA. So asking that person to get involved in the neighborhood, how about first teaching them how to save money, then do some things in the neighborhood. Start something in the community first. Invite players to get involved. Invite athletes to get involved. Invite actors, actresses. Don't have to be of one denominational group. It can be multifacets, but they always want to call out the blacks. That's where you're wrong. So my thing is, why call out the blacks when you haven't called out anybody else? Isn't this what this is supposed to be about? Unification, unifying, we all together, we all as one. So if we're all doing that and you want to bring Donald Trump into the occasion and you want to do this praising Trump, sit down with Trump and say, well, Trump, I have a problem with a couple of things you've done with the African Americans. You know, why are you calling them African Americans? Wait, there's my African American. Why don't you have any Latinos on your staff? What's going on? Why you don't have these things done in order? Why are you hiring these type of people that you know have very shady backgrounds of not being diverse in the White House? That's what you guys should have a problem with. Did he steal the election? Absolutely. But see, I'm not finna march and go down there when there's no plan. What is the plan of the march? To say you unhappy? Social media done told us that. The news done told us that. See, when people marched in the 60s and the 70s, they had a goal that they were trying to get to. What is the goal? What is the plan? The next day, you got all the women marching. What was that for? Just to say the women are not going to have it? What is your plan? To fight the right to abortion? I'm pro-choice. It's not my decision. I'm a man, but I'm pro-choice. God gave you a choice. If that's what a woman wants to do with her body, it's her decision. You can't forcibly make them do. No, it's their choice. If they want to have an abortion, it's their God-given right to do so. God gave us a choice to praise him or defy him. So why would you take that choice away from them? That's like telling somebody, you got to obey God. You don't got to obey God. Y'all ain't put no law in the book saying you got to obey God, do you? Nobody want to talk about that. You must follow the laws of God. They didn't say that. God said, hey, I'm going to put the laws out there. You got a choice. You either follow it or you don't. That's up to you. But when the time comes, y'all will have to, everybody will have their turn to answer for what they've done. So, that's if you believe in that, but hey, it's coming. So, on that note, I mean, that's basically it. And I'm tired of fixing the situation in Chicago. The situation in Chicago, the mayor already said, if the government wants to get involved, come get involved. You want to shut this down? You want to make this work? Come get involved. It's been time for calling the National Guards. It's been time for that. How many more people got to die before y'all realize y'all got to start cleaning up the area? Period. And how to get it fixed, we've given you ideas. It's very simple. Jobs. If you don't create jobs in that area, if you don't have recreational centers in the area, if you don't have these things over there, what do you think they're going to do? What do you think a 16-year-old kid is going to do? He's going to go outside and get into something crazy. He has no activity centers. There's no internet cafes. There's no libraries in his area. There's nothing for him to do. There's no jobs. He can't get a summer job. He can't get his family members can't even get a job in the area. They got to take 2 buses and 2 trains to get to a job. There's no jobs in Chicago. You got a not in their area. And now you look at them and go, look at them. They're selling drugs and gangbanging. What are they going to do? You telling them they can't work, so they can't make money, they can't eat. They have nothing to do for recreation when they go outside. They're going to get into whatever criminal activity or whatever activity there is outside. If they're just gangbanging, hanging out outside playing music, they're going to do that. They're going to go fight with another person that they don't even know for no apparent reason. These are the things that happen when you don't have options, when you don't provide options, when the government don't provide funds for these options. So all of these things go back on Donald Trump. So people in Chicago, we already know what the problem is. The problem is what the government going to do about it. Do they care enough? The city showed you already. They don't care. They keep saying they care, but have you seen anything done about it? So don't sit up there like, man, we all got to come sit down and come up with solutions. I just told you the solutions. Play this video for them. And said this guy from Chicago, Southside Chicago, Illinois, told you what was wrong with the city. Tell me, am I wrong? Tell me that's not the way to fix it. And I'll show you try it my way, and you will see less crimes in the city. Less murders in the city. Guaranteed. You do that, you're going to have less violence in the city. There are people out here, the No Child Left Behind law, people out here with no education whatsoever. They don't even know how to hold a fork or a spoon. They don't know how to conversate with people in a setting. They're used to talking on social media. They're not used to conversating with people. They dropped out of school in like 7th, 8th grade, and they're walking around in the streets lost. So they're just gangbanging with like a 3rd grade education. They were just being passed along. So is the situation dire? Yeah, it's at a state of emergency. But it's not just Chicago. This is worldwide. So what we need to do is start addressing the problems. But first, you got to clean the streets up. See, Stephen A. Smith, these are the things that Isaiah Thomas was trying to tell to you on the show, not just for one episode. This is something you should be preaching every other day, trying to put your foot down to get that started. I appreciate that they put that on that show, that somebody's out there making it happen. There's a lot of people out there that's trying to make it happen, but the news don't want to focus on them. They want to focus on the bodies. They want to focus on the murders. That's all they want to focus on. So if that's what your goal is the murders and the death count, and they're keeping that, they're not worrying, they're not pure showing people in the community just trying to help and solve things. So now you're going to have people who would normally help a situation like this, people who have money, they're watching the news, and the news is really for them, not for us. And it informs them as, look at them, they're just killing each other. So people are like, I'm not going to put my money towards that. Look at them, they're just killing each other. It doesn't make any sense because they're not being informed about what's going on in the actual community. So Stephen A. Smith, instead of sticking up for people like Steve Harvey, who's in your buddy club, actually talk to Steve Harvey about actually doing something in the community for the city of Chicago, which helped his career come up anyway, and he knows that. So try to help save the city, save a lot of these inner cities, get all people of color to come together. Meeting with Donald Trump is not going to do anything but make news and press and take pictures, but it's nothing. What was shared? Did Steve Harvey ever share what was mentioned about saving any communities and anything of that nature? No. So we need to really get together and find out the true problem, the true nature of the problem, and solve that. Okay? Let's work on that. So if you want to really do something on that nature, I just told you what to do. Now let's see what moves you make.